everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today we have the pleasure of watching Kamikaze 12345 playing in their brand new Tier 11 Chinese heavy tank. It is the BZ-79, and this is the first of the gameplay that I've featured on this vehicle, and it has the brand new liquid rockets. So what the liquid rockets mean is that you can actually choose how long you activate them, how long you deactivate them, and so that means that you can be a lot more responsive with them. Maybe you need them for just a little bit of a ram, maybe you need them for a little bit more of an upslope, but then you want to stop up the slope, fire, and pull back. They are going to be so much more flexible than the rockets that you will have on the BZ-75 and all of the other Chinese rocket tanks inside the game. So does that mean that now the BZ-75 is the best rocket heavy? Well, yeah, I mean, it is if you want the flexibility, but statistically, this vehicle, it's kind of just a little bit better than the BZ-75 in a lot of areas. But there are a lot of other areas of the vehicle which leave a lot to be desired. The vehicle's upper turret, for example, is 50 millimeters, so it doesn't take artillery shells that well. And also, with this tank's 152 millimeter, it can actually overmatch that part of the armor. The tank's lower plate as well is a little bit lackluster, but still, boy, this is like a juggernaut of a vehicle. It starts with 690 alpha damage. You can work that up to 700 alpha damage, and also your penetration on your standard rounds can get up into the realm of kind of like 265, and your gold rounds can get to 330, which is a darn sight better than I believe like the 315 roughly that you'll have on the BZ-75. So it is definitely just a big step up in a lot of areas. Also, to talk about like 2,800 base hit points when you're not using a durability on this tank, absolute monster. So Kamikaze has decided to go for almost like a full gun handling build on this vehicle. They're using experimental turbo at tier 3. That's a great pick for this tank. And the reason why that's a great pick for this tank is because the turbo will be boosted by the rockets as well. On all Chinese heavies, unless you're on a city map, you want to be taking a turbo, because the rocket boost, which increases the top speed by 50%, will also increase the turbo by 50% as well. And so you can manage to get yourself through tight situations like getting up slopes much more quickly and maybe evade the damage. The experimental turbo on this as well will allow you to kind of like counteract the vehicle's okay aim time of base of 2.8 and the vehicle's okay gun handling of 0.2 when moving and 0.13 when turning the turret. So your reticle never really fully blooms out, especially when used in conjunction with Bond-vert stabs. And who wouldn't put sweaty equipment on their brand new tier 11s, right? They're going to be the pinnacle of the game, at least for now, right? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Wargaming more or less confirmed that Tier 12 will come to the game. If you missed my video that I released on it last week, go and check it out. So much information to keep up with inside World of Tanks right now. I hope I'm being at least a little bit useful in trying to cover it. But you know what? The information, it's starting to slow down a little bit now, and now it's actually time to enjoy our presence. And Kamikaze is going to show you exactly why this vehicle is a present to be very much enjoyed. With that shot, 1,700 damage ammo rack into the back of the IS-7. That is a little bit of a headache for that top tier heavy that probably just wants to become a KR1 one day, right? Well, not on Kamikaze's watch, as they shut them down really hard. And they're up to 8,000 damage in the first 4 minutes of this game, just showing you how cool these liquid rockets are. You don't run out of them. It's not like the BZ-75, where once you've used your 6 boosters, then that's it for the rest of the game. You can use them as much as they want. They recover, and the only downside to them is you probably can't use them for quite as long as you could do in the BZ-75 in a straight line before they reach the red, and then if you go through the red, then you're going to have a lockout on this vehicle, which will leave you hopefully not in too stressful of a situation. So man, just what a game so far. Just 4 minutes of relentless firing, relentless aggression, in position, just being everywhere that you want to be. And look at this, able to just get up that slope with the beautiful liquid fuel there. But it looks like the lockout does happen, and once you've done that, the BZ-75 is going to have to release at least until this point, and then you can start to use them again. Oh no! The Taschenrate absolutely trolling there with Kamikaze unable to go through that new super heavy, the super heavy of World of Tanks now, right? 200 tons, huge hit points, huge armor. I personally think its armor is a little bit over the top, but more on that when I finally have some worthy gameplay to show you on the Taschenratte. So, Kamikaze now trying to show you this 8 degrees of base gun depression. I'm not 100% sure as to whether you can get that up to 9 or 10. Most of these vehicles, you seem to be able to get extra gun depression on. But yeah, there's some things that even QuickyBaby doesn't know yet, and I'm hoping that the Awesome Tanks GG website is going to have the capability soon of being able to show the upgraded stats as well as just the base stats on these vehicles. So weird to just think about base stats on a tier 11, but there's a lot of them out there. One of the tips that I want to give all of you right now, if you're playing your tier 11 tanks or you're playing against tier 11 tanks, is if you take a look at the enemy and you see that they do not have like an experience indicator here, that means that they haven't fully upgraded their tier 11 tank yet. But if they do have that number, that means they are fully upgraded. Either they've played it a lot, or they've dumped a lot of free experience and become Wargaming's best customer. Not only have they got the 325k, they got another 325k to be able to upgrade it within the first week. So just watch out for that, because that lets you know that that tank is now fully maxed out. Kind of like a little bit of a mini XBM in a way, right? Those were the days, those were the days. Those were the bad days for some players and the good days for others, depending on how you decided to feel about it. So Kamikaze is probably feeling quite good about themselves right now. I'd feel good about myself as well if I'm on 8,800 hit points and there's still 8,000 left to farm on the enemy team. Oh, and the can opener, you forgot about the BZ-79 up on the hill. As Kamikaze puts in a big old 665 hit, looks for the mouse, expecting them to come around the corner, but maybe can just focus on the can opener here. And looks like they can overmatch the whole of the top of the turret there, but kind of flinch just a little bit. But, you know, want to make your shots count as well. That was actually heat that Kamikaze was firing, so I'm not 100% certain as to whether they were able to overmatch the top of the can opener. But you'll be amazed what you can do to the top of a tank with AP, and not just heat, when you have 152mm. Beautiful caliber to just find so many plates to be able to overmatch, like the top of a 60 TP, for example. A lot of people don't realize that 60 TPs can actually overmatch the whole of the roof plate of each other with their regular rounds. So now Kamikaze over 10,000 damage in a neck and neck game. Truly is becoming the king of the hill, a bit of a goat in this situation, making this rather slippery slope on this Swedish map look actually not as precarious as it usually is for quite a few players. So the mouse comes around the corner, Kamikaze clutch shots there, showing you the enhanced gun handling of the double stack, and the mouse decides like, oh, I want to go after this. What's this BZ-79 being so cheeky? But unfortunately for Kamikaze, he's now fired their final heat round. And that's why I was hoping that maybe they would have been a little bit more defensive with their heat ammunition when they were above the... Oh, there we go, clutch. Yeah, gun handling on this vehicle actually working out very well right now. I mean, you can be dynamic with the rockets, but we don't have time to talk about being dynamic right now, as a very undynamic tank, about as undynamic as you can get inside the pillbox mode. The Stridsvagn 107 comes up on the hill, but even the gold is ricocheting off the front of the BZ-75's armor now, and that is just the kind of fortune that Kamikaze needs to be able to reload for 4 seconds, while the STRV doesn't look like they use a turbo, or maybe they do. Kamikaze actually reacts very well to the Taschenratte being behind them. The Taschenratte pens a shell, and the Taschenratte also follows it up with 2 HE shells as well, doing 300 damage between the HE shells, meaning that Kamikaze actually takes 800 damage from a single round from the Taschenratte there, with a double salvo from their auxiliary gun. Now Kamikaze turns the gun around as quickly as possible to try and find the DBV, and even though they've only got 5 rounds left, are they going to be a little bit cheeky here and try and look for a blind shot on a DBV? We can see the DBV last spotted on half of their hit points. Kamikaze gets spotted, and I didn't see that shell disappear. So if we see the DBV later on in this game on less than half of their hit points, that means that that was a good decision. But man, blind firing when you've only got 4 AP shells left now and 3 HE shells, including a Taschenratte on half of their hit points to be able to deal with, So, we're unsure exactly how many hit points the Stridsvagn 103B does. Okay, great news. They're on full hit points. That should mean that they're useful. The Taschenrad is advancing along the northern flank. The TVP is going to make their way, and hopefully they don't get the side of the STRV. But Kamikaze is going to take a look to see if they can find the DBV. And this is where it's a little bit unfortunate that this vehicle only has 390 meters base view range. So without something like vents, and without the field mods or the upgrades, then the view range of the tier 11's a little bit poor here. And that means that they can't catch the DBV out in the open. But the DBV was actually there. And unfortunately, Kamikaze's round, the blind fire earlier, didn't hit. So they're unable to finish off the DBV there. But now, with a one shot on the DBV, a one shot on the TVP, who's Kamikaze going to pick? 2 rounds of AP left now, ladies and gents. And the Taschenrad is at 1,600 hit points, with the DBV being a one-shot. So, wow, what a showdown, right? 9 kills between the last 2 remaining players. Kamikaze now on 13,000 with 2 AP shells and 3 HE shells. How are they going to be able to get through this situation? Well, the enemy has immediately created a win condition by going and sitting in the cap. And Kamikaze's maybe looking to try and blind fire, but catches the Taschenrad. Kamikaze puts in, oh my word, a fire? That means that they are now, unless they low roll, a one-shot for the AP shell. Boys and girls, this just got interesting. This just got very possible for Kamikaze now. Comes around the corner, bounces the DBV, evades death from the Taschenrad's dual salvo there, and finishes off the Taschenrad with a good roll. Ah! Oh no! You can see what I was saying about precarious there. Kamikaze's heart must be going a mile a minute after that. Now, take a deep breath, keep calm. They're going to fire one of their HE shells here. I guess it would make sense. Okay, not in that position. Okay. You've got 2 shells left. Come on, 44 seconds. Use those rockets. Get into position. Probably don't waste the rockets downhill, because as far as I'm aware, the rockets aren't going to boost the vehicle speed downhill a lot like on the BZ-75. So let the vehicle coast now, so you can use the rockets later on. Yeah, hard limited by the looks of it to the top speed of 45 kilometers an hour there. 25 seconds left. What is Kamikaze going to do? They're going to try and blind fire. Oh, man. Oh, no. Now with only 16 seconds left, the only move is forwards. Will they try and maybe use that position for right on the left to be able to vault up? And, oh, dear. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is this the biggest heartbreak in World of Tanks history? Nearly 15,000 damage dealt with that pesky DBV on 6 kills and finishing off our hero, Kamikaze. This was just the perfect example of the BZ-79 just having an absolute playground, right? Using rockets to traverse through the danger points quickly, having that big boy Alpha to deliver with its fairly flexible 8 degrees base gun depression to be able to just dominate that warship. Is it the warship wreck up there? Or just the glacial plateau? This was one of the most incredible games of World of Tanks that I have seen, purely from just a pure damage pumping view. And like, is this going to be kind of like the new standard that we have to achieve at our tier 11 tanks? Well, let's hope not for all of us, right, boys and girls? So was there any blind damage? No, there wasn't. 14,770 damage dealt here, pretty much 5 times what anyone else on their team was able to achieve. And with the Courageous Resistance Medal, this was 1,792 base experience, enough to get an ace at a tricky time to be able to get ace in these brand new toys. And Kamikaze also actually managed to make a profit in this game, but considering the staggering damage total, having to fire pretty much all of the rounds of ammunition in their tank. So Kamikaze, my heart goes out to you for this absolute heartbreak of a game, but thank you so much for showing us what a tank that no one's really talking about, the BZ-79, is capable of. And that's what's so exciting about World of Tanks right now, with so many tier 11s going into the game, that lots of people are focusing on, you know, the Taschenrad. And it feels like we're only just discovering what some other new monsters might be capable of. So Kamikaze, once again, thank you so much for uploading your epic game to the WoT Record website. And I'd like to remind any of you heroes out there that if you have utterly incredible games. Share them with the community if you want to have a chance to be featured on the YouTube channel. I thoroughly enjoyed this game, and I hope all of you out there did as well. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And let me know in the comments down below which of the new tier 11s, if you've managed to get any of them, have been giving you your biggest games. And if you're watching this video as it's released on Monday, I'm going live all day on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby with brand new drops tokens. So come and get closer towards a free T-34 or a free Panther 88. And spoilers, if you've already missed the first 2 sets of tokens, you're going to have to collect the rest of them if you want to be able to get one. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all live right now. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.